Yeah, mate, yeah, did you see the draw? Hey, Northern Ireland, mate. Hey, they love me there. They absolutely love me there. Yeah, no, I put that league on the map. No, I wouldn't worry about it, mate. The Linfield fans, they respect me. So we'll get a good reception.
Synger sammen til segerstråpen Áfram Grindavik Og jeg vet Við magnum gerir það
Guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Grindavik on the Impossible Dream. It's season 13, episode 5, and today we have the Champions League playoff versus Linfield of the Danska Premier League. Now, of course, we were there with H&W Welders, wasn't it? H&W Welders, and they were our big rivals, so we get to face them again. Hopefully, we get to smash them again because it would be very nice. But back to Windsor Park we go, and yeah, it's nice to take a new team back to an old club. So that is, if you haven't seen the H&W Welders Impossible Dream, it was 2 versions of the game ago, I think now. And as you can see, we are favourites to win even at their place. I suspect it won't be too much of a problem for us. But before we get to this, there's a little bit to catch you up on that has happened. Let's start with our stadium. Because our stadium is now a 15,000 capacity stadium. That expansion has taken place, so we'll get to see the full stadium hopefully at some point today. And that's a decent sized stadium, isn't it? So yeah, that's good. That's good. That helps us obviously sustain the wages. The more attendances we can get. I always think attendances need to sort of pay for the wages. And yeah, you know, we're not there yet, but we're getting there, which is good to see. Now, the other thing, we have had a transfer out, and that is Charlie Obot. He has left us. He's worth 11 million now. Jesus. He's gone to Cardiff, as you can see. We got 3.5 for him, million that is, and I'm okay with that. I'll show you in a second. We got our money back for him though. He's worth a lot more than that now, apparently. The reason I've done this is not that I don't think he's a useful player for us to have around. The way that we are right now, having sold off a few players that were club trained and whatnot, we can't register him either in the league or in Europe. So what's the point, right? So that was my thinking. So yeah, we said we got 3.5. We signed him for 3.2. In the end, it's a decent piece of business. You can see he wasn't playing in the league because he wasn't registered last season. There's no point. There's literally no point keeping him for depth if he can't play, even if he is needed. So that's why we have done that. So that all means for the finances, it's looking much better. We've got 25 million we can spend now, which is ridiculous. The wages keep going down. I feel like we've got everything back under control now, which is good. If we can go and make this this league phase of the Champions League today, we'll get that 12 million potentially prize money for winning games in Europe as well. And it's going to be, I think last season's problems are going to be behind us. FFP, we're projected to make a profit. We've got 8 million essentially to play with from where we're projected to be to what we're allowed to be. So we're absolutely fine, which is good. We've got that back under control. Now, there are 3 games to catch you up on as well. The first one in the league was against KR. And there is nothing to show you. We were truly horrible in this game. 64% possession. Couldn't score. Bouncing had one of these weird games. I can't figure him out. I'm obviously doing something wrong, you know, whether it be pre-game or whatnot, when I talk to him. But he's just, every now and again, has these little patches where he just looks completely useless. And this was another one of those games, unfortunately. So that was that. We then had the second leg against Lugano. We were almost 7-0 up after the first leg. Kruzliak gave us the lead. And then picked out Milosevic for our second. So we did enough, obviously. We won the game, which was what we needed to. Well, we didn't just need to not lose by 7, really. But, you know, we won on the night, which is good. 50% possession, though we weren't good, to tell you the truth. It wasn't a classic performance from us, but away from home in Europe against the Swiss champions, you know, I think the Swiss league is rated higher than our league. So it's not a terrible result, but the performance was below what I'd expect us to be at this point, to be honest. Final game to catch you up on back in the league was against the team that was second at the time, IA. Plameninos gave us the second half lead, and Juleson crossed for Boutenson to make it 2-0. So again, we really struggled in front of goal. Pleminos with his first goal for the club, which was good to see. Nice finish from Boutenson. Juleson did well getting forward for that one. But yeah, a slight concern that the goals aren't quite going in the way that we've come to expect from us. So we have done some work on chance conversion, so hopefully we'll see a benefit to that. The league table, though, AI are still second. Breeder Blink, unfortunately, look as though they're struggling a little bit, though they do have a game in hand, potentially against us. But if they were to win that, they'd go back into the European places. Ideally, they'd be there, because I still think they are the second best team in the country, and we need them to be doing well in Europe. Now, if we do have a quick check-in on how the other teams are doing in Europe. Now, unfortunately, in the Europa League, Breeder Blink lost in the second qualifying round, which I think is the first that they play in, against Kristiansand of Norway. So, disappointing. 3-0 they lost away from home. I think they were 2-1 up, that must mean, after the first leg. So, yeah, disappointing for them to have lost that. Now, that means they will go into the Europa Conference League. Now, unfortunately, again, they are the only team that is going to be going into the sort of the playoff round for that, because FH lost to Antwerp. That's a tough draw for them, so a little bit unfortunate. But then if we go down, Folgner here as well, they lost to Macedonian opposition. That, I think, will have to be considered a disappointment. So they both fell at the first hurdle. Now, let's have a look at Breeder Blink. Now, in their playoff, which we was there about to play as well on the Thursday, this is the Tuesday, they've drawn Kazakhstani opposition in the Europa Conference League. I am very hopeful that they'll be able to beat them. Now, if they beat them, they'll go into the league phase, and then that's them getting money. Surely that's them then professional, and that will hopefully start to finally kick the league on. And imagine the coefficient points as well if they can get in there. So let's keep our fingers crossed for Breeder Blink. We will all be... David Villa Park is hosting the final. I wonder if that's Barcelona. Who else did he play for? Was he Atletico Madrid? Anyway, I just noticed that up there. If you can't, you probably can't. And I probably got it zoomed in anyway. But that's beside the point. All right, so there we go. That's Breeder Blink. Let's hope they can get the job done for themselves. Let's see what we're doing against Linfield. We are at home for the first leg. It should be something we can do quite comfortably. So a 4-2-3-1 we're expecting from them. And the team we're sending out, it is Puol in goal. It is Giacchini, Nuison, Degen, and Volpez as the back four. Volpez is happy again at the club, so that's good news for us. Jonsson, Raul, and Carlson's going to get the start. Not being completely convinced by Bakali recently. It's Milosevic, Seema is the inside forward, and Kruzliak will go up front. Alright, so we are actually away from home first leg. I thought we were away from home for the first leg. Anyway, we can see the team sheets there. I don't recognise any names. I had a quick look at their squad when we got drawn against them. I'm surprised, to be honest, to see them this far into qualifying. But, yeah, they've obviously done well. And I don't think they beat anybody particularly surprising to get here. So maybe we are just very good right now. Now, just a couple of things. First, that seems quite loud, doesn't it? Anyway, I have managed to pick up my wife's cold, so if I sound a bit throaty, I apologise, or more nasally than usual. That's happened. Now, the other thing is I'm going to do a call now for Viewers Player of the Year nominations. Now, the reason for that is because I'm going to be missing 2 or 3, I forget how long we're away for, but we're going to Canada to visit the in-laws. I've mentioned this sort of off and on recently. So we're going to come back from that, and we're all going to forget who our players are, never mind how they've been doing this year. So we'll do a call now, and my plan is, I think, we'll probably stop for the break, we'll get to A-League competition. So we'll probably stop and then come back and start the European campaign, whether that be Champions League or Europa League, which we will, of course, find out today. So... and then we can sort of continue nominations based on European form. That is a great ball for Kruzliak. He has buried it in the second minute of the game. We're 1-0 up. And have some of that, Linfield. You can still not beat me. Shouldn't say that so early on, should I? But Milosevic did really, really well here. Threaded the ball through for Kruzliak. Not quite sure what Murphy's doing there. And yeah, Kruzliak just tucked it away. Very, very nicely done indeed. Now, if this was to get out of hand for the first leg, I'm really hoping it doesn't, because that's going to put a spanner in the works. But yeah, we'll see how fixtures start to fall. There's a good ball for Seema. Seema's in. Kruzliak's in front of goal. Seema has instead decided on a back pass, which was interesting. Raul has another go. And despite some penalty area pinballs, it couldn't find the back of the net there. So, yeah. Apologies too that this episode's a day late. Oh, and they've got one back. It's 1-1. Focus, boys. Giacchini's missed header led to that. And, yeah, well, they can play a little bit, can't they? Or is it just that we can't defend the set piece? Giacchini and Volpez were there. Maybe we don't want 2 fullbacks, but we've got a kickoff highlight. So let's see if we can go and get that goal straight back. Restore the lead. Raul, have they just angered the beast here? Milosevic crosses it to Giacchini, who's open. Oh, Carlson's been brought down. And it's a stonewall penalty, really. It's one of those, isn't it? Whoever gets to the ball first, or second, I should say, is going to commit the foul. And it is a penalty. It'll be Seema, I imagine, to take it. It will be. And can he put this away and give us our lead back? Seema, oh, goalkeeper's gone the right way, but he still cannot stop Seema from scoring. It's his 13th. And Seema continues, I believe, to have a 100% record from the penalty spot. There is a way, of course, to check that. I don't remember him missing one, though. And usually penalty misses stick in the brain, don't they? So, although we are talking about my brain, so maybe maybe not. But anyway, here we go again. I've got, you know, when you sort of have a bit of a cold and you get brain fog, that's what I have right now. Thicker than usual. I was going to say, oh, there's a good ball for Milosevic. Oh, he's put it just across the face of goal. Yeah, we do have the semi-final of the Icelandic Cup upcoming. And if I remember correctly, last year we had the semi-final and the final sort of almost within a couple of days of each other. So I'm thinking that it'll probably be the same thing again. There's another good ball. We are just ripping them apart in wide areas, and unfortunately, Seema couldn't get on the end of it, but Giacchini's there. Carlson nods it down, and are we going to get done the other way here? They're not a bad team, are they? I think we've seen enough from them already to see here that they can ping the ball around a little bit. Degan wins a very important header. Newison is there. He gets it forward for Seema, and can we get them on the break here? Kruzliak, oh, I think did Stewart play him on? It's very, very close. Do we have VAR to check? We did, because we did for the penalty. It's very close. My initial thought was he's just off. And he is just off. It would have been his 21st. But yeah, Stewart was the one here, I think. And just didn't hold his run long enough. And again, to be fair to them, really disciplined defending, wasn't it? I mean, they've got to come to Grindavik. We know coming to Grindavik is just a very, very different prospect to us coming to them. Seema in there for Carlson. Look at Jonsson. He just had a bit of space for a moment and it was closed down. I've got to say, very impressed by this Linfield side. I can see why they've got this far. Carlson to Jonsson to Raul. Seema's off as well, I think. He's gone early. It's a really good finish in off the post. But again, I suspect VAR is going to ruin our party here. As it does indeed. Sorry, got a bit of a runny nose there. We don't want anything shining off the lights. Yeah, he's quite a ways off that one. That wasn't even close, was it? Really good finish again, though, from Seema. And that'll do it for half-time. So just the 2-1 lead. And I wouldn't say that we've looked particularly... Well, I would say we've looked comfortable, but they've certainly had a threat, haven't they? They've not... They've looked better than any team we've played so far. So that is... I mean, it's good in a way. We don't want every game being 7-0. But if we want to get Manchester City's goal record, then we do need to run in a few at some point. Giacchini's only playing a 6-3. Now, a lot of that is probably down to the fact he was given the blame for the first goal. Or for their only goal, I suppose. Second half is ticking by. I wonder if we lower our tempo down, given that we've had 70-odd% possession, if we'll just move it around and pick them apart a little bit more patiently, perhaps. Milosevic. Here we go. Goes on another run. Carlson. Good ball there for Seema. Seema. Oh, he split the defence. What about the pass from Seema? That one is onside. Surely it's not going to be a hat-trick of overturns. I'm fairly sure that he's onside that time. And there it is. He is indeed onside. The ball here from Seema, though, was spectacular. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 defenders taken out. First time finish from Kruzliak. That's a really good goal. And 3-1 would be a fairly nice lead for us to take back with us to Grindavik, I would say. And of course, it'll be, I think, certainly the first European game in our 15,000 capacity stadium. So there will be a lot of Icelandic people. I mean, that's almost, what, 10% of the country? If no, it's 300,000 people, I think, isn't it? Iceland, not 150,000. But anyway, it's a sizable chunk. I did look up, too, how many people... Oh, Milosevic. That was silly. Okay, so we should have, and we do have Kosh on the bench. The one benefit we have, of course, is we do have really good depth in the squad, so we can make do with it. We can make do without him in the second leg as well. That's not going to be a problem. And Carlson, oh, I tell you what, that was not a mile away. And yeah, we just need to make sure we're being sensible here. And there's a good ball to the back post from Kosh. Yeah, just make sure we don't ideally let them back in at 3-2. Newsonen is there. Oh, if you're wondering why I brought Kosh on, the wingers on this formation are tracking their fullbacks back, so they have a defensive duty. So that's why we've stayed the way we've stayed here. I think we can get away with a man short in midfield, particularly if Jonsson is still shielding the back four. That should be fine. Seema does really well. I'm so impressed by Seema. Carlson to Kroll. Krusliak has turned the defender, and if he can score this, he's going to do very well. There's so many defenders back. Carlson across there for Volpez. Volpez! Well, that would have been a goal, wouldn't it? They're not a mile away either. 88th minute now. And Linfield look like they're getting more men forward. They've picked us apart there, and Pruwall has just about managed to keep that out for a corner. Now, this is where they got their goal first time around, of course. Into the back post again, and they've got another one. And we're going to have to do some work on defending corners for the second leg, aren't we? Now, is that Giacchini again? There's a lot of players there. And to concede 2 from set pieces is a little frustrating, isn't it? We are in the final 40-odd seconds of stoppage time. Now, this is a big 30 seconds here, isn't it? We do not want to go 3-3. That would give them all the momentum coming into the second leg. If we could nick a goal, that would be brilliant. But I think we just want to try and get out of this one, don't we? Krusliak in a little bit of space. Seema's getting forward if we can find him. Jonsson. Back to Volpez. Volpez to Degen. Nice little ball there. Oh, that's... Oh, almost just threaded the needle there, did Jonsson. But here come Linfield the other way. It's... Oh! That was very, very close. And that should be game. It is. So 3-2 going into the second leg. They're going to have a hard time, playing at our place. We know that we're very good at home, but that was a lot tougher than I was expecting. So Grindavik secure victory at Windsor Park. Milosevic is going to be banned. It did look, didn't it? It did look like it was a red card, let's be honest, from behind like that. Krusliak shines, though. He got the double. And, well, we will have to come back for the second leg. Hopefully we're going to run up a nice score, but they look decent, don't they? All right, welcome back. We're getting ready for this second leg. It's a little bit tense, isn't it? It should be fine, but we've done work on defending corners. Hopefully, we'll see a benefit of that. We won't concede from any more corners. Now, there's one game to catch you up on. That was in the league against Stunnan. If results went our way, we could win the league this day. So let's see if we could do it. Baltinson played in Bakali to put us ahead. And Baltinson was the provider again for Arneson to make it 2-0 at half-time. But Stunnan pulled one back on the hour mark. So this was another game. There's a troubling trend we have where we don't look particularly good defensively. Now, we went like this because they were playing in a 4-4-2. It didn't make much difference, and we ended up actually going back to wingers when they got their second goals. Oh, sorry, when they got their goals, so that they wouldn't get a second goal, hopefully. But you can see from XG, I mean, they, despite having no possession, really did give us a tough time. So, yeah, a little bit troubling. We didn't actually end up winning the league. That is because IA even ended up winning their game. So we have to wait a little bit longer, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen next game as long as we don't lose. So that is all looking very, very nice indeed. But we have Champions League business to attend to. We are expecting 4-2-3-1 out of Linfield, and we need them to get a dose of what we're all about here, because we're just in ever so slightly a bit of trouble, perhaps. It is Pruwall in goal. It is Giacchini, Newison, Degen, and Volpez. It is Jonsson, Rayul, Carlson. The only change to the team is Kosh coming in for the suspended Milosevic. Seema and Krusliak will continue. And, yeah, like I say, we're in front. We don't have to panic, but we definitely need to look a lot better defensively than we have done recently. All right, so team sheets look pretty much the same as the first leg. I think I don't recognise too many other names in their team. We will home form is important to us. We can't allow complacency here. Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? This should be fine, but I'm a little nervous. And I'm a little nervous. That's the new stand, I think, isn't it? Because that used to be a construction site. Yeah, I'm a little nervous just because recent form, you know, since we beat Lugano 7-0, we've struggled. We've struggled to score, and they've come out in a 4-4-2. We've struggled to score goals, and we've looked a little shaky defensively as well. So, yeah, we'll just have to see and hope and see what happens. Oh, excuse me. Sorry if that could become a thing. Yeah. Like I said, it should be fine. It really should. We're a good team at home. I'm a little nervous about them coming out in the 4-4-2, whether or not we should change to our sort of 4-4-2 formation, but we'll see how this goes. I don't want to make unnecessary subs, although Sema could just go in. It would mean taking Kosh off, though. Which is probably not ideal. What we might do is just lower the tempo down. We are in front, so we can afford to be a little bit more patient. And here we go. First highlight of the day. Volpez, wide there for Kosh. Kosh is a very good player. He's as good as Milosevic. There really isn't much between them. There's a good ball in. Kruzliak has tucked it away. I suspect he was offside, though. He was definitely behind the defence, I think. It's just whether he was behind the ball, and it is disallowed. So for a fourth time, or was it a third time, Kruzliak has had a goal ruled out. He's definitely behind the defence. Yeah, it's poor, really, isn't it, from Kruzliak? He's got to do a little bit better than that. But at least we know that there's a way through for us. Here we go again with Kosh. Back to Jonsson. Real to Volpez. And this is fine as long as you don't have a Stanijevic moment. Real. There's a good ball for Kruzliak. He's in behind now. He's onside. Can Kruzliak tuck it away? Yes, he can. Look, went straight through the goalkeeper. But it is 4-2. 1-0 on the night. And that will be, hopefully, gives us a breathing room, doesn't it? Real with a nice ball forward. And Kruzliak, the goalkeeper's going to want this one back, isn't he? It looked like it more or less went straight through him. And, yeah, very nicely done by Kruzliak. Now, do we call that the Jan Kruzliak end, given that he scored the first goal there? There's an interesting comment that we should name. We have the Gadini stand, but the other main stand after one of the past heroes, and the name Moa popped up, which was a real flashback to the promotion years. But he was very, very good back, until we got promoted. And then I think he played a season or two while we were in the Pepsi League as well. So, yeah, if we don't have any objections, we could have the Moa stand opposite the Gadini stand. And then I think one end will have to go to Baltinson when he retires, I think was the suggestion, or moves on. Hopefully he won't be moving on. It's not been a classic game, this one, if we're completely honest. We've got Kosh with an injury, which isn't ideal. So what we might do, we've got Medina who can come on and play there. Seema's not had a great game. Actually, you know what we might do? Let's cancel all the... How do I cancel that? Oh, I can't cancel that now. It's happened. I can't cancel it. All right, well, then we'll just go with what we've got here. Carlson over a free kick. Chips it in. It's headed away. Raul gets there first. Degan to Raul. Raul forward. It's not the greatest ball, to be honest. Kruzliak, though, wins it back. Is this a chance? Giacchini's can space it wide. We've got players in the middle. It's, again, poor. And is it Newison? Who's won that back for us? Jonsson, it might have been. Volpez gets forward now. He can't get across into the penalty area. And, well, here comes Kellyman forward. Cross in. Newison is there, but picked up again by it's Linfield. Linfield in. Linfield. Pruwall with a big, big save. We've got a corner to defend. Has training worked? It looked a little bit better there, didn't it? Newison heads it clear. And here come Linfield again. That ends the highlight. We'll tell them to focus when we get a chance here. And Seema's not had a good game today, which is surprising. But it's not been a normal Grindavik home performance. We've only scored 1, but it looks like it is going to be enough. Well done to Linfield. That is the toughest game we've had, or toughest qualifying leg we've had, I think, ever. And, well, they're unlucky, I think. There's a lot of teams they would have played that would have fallen to them. So, job done. Kosh's injury is a twisted knee. That should be fine because Milosevic is available again now. It was really just that one game that we had to have Kosh playing, although Medina is very decent. Volpez, let's go with you are solid defensively. I mean, it was a clean sheet, which is something. We hadn't kept one of those for a while, so that's all good. Guys, before we end the episode, we're going to find out what our fixtures look like, so keep your fingers crossed they're not too ugly. Alright, so we have got our 12.75 million. Here are the fixtures. Okay, not horrible. Man City, Newcastle, and Bayern Munich are going to be tough. AC Milan away will be tough. Besiktas at home is a must-win. Sevilla at home is going to be tough, but they're a pot 4 side, which is always tough to get the team from the big league in as the pot 4 side. So that'll be tough as well. But it is at home. Genk away is the other must-win, isn't it? That's the other pool 4 side. And Lille, a pool 3 side away from home, is going to be the other question mark, isn't it? Newcastle at home, could we do something against them? We'll probably need to if we want to get out, but I'd say of those the first 3 games are going to be the ones, aren't they? If we can get, 5 points, we're looking at there for 8, and then sneak a point against Man City or Newcastle to get to 9, and then hope. We're probably going to need to beat either Sevilla or Lille, aren't we? I'd say. Yeah, we've got a little bit unlucky that the pot 4 side is Sevilla because that makes life difficult for us. But anyway, that is that. Now, in terms of Breeder Blink, they have unfortunately lost. They lost, was it 3-0 away from home and then 2-2 at home. So, or 3-1 it was, they lost away from home. Disappointing. Very, very disappointing. So still there's no other Icelandic team in the league phase. Now, did they get a big, what if they got a big payout for that playoff? No, I just checked and they just get the 86 grand. So that's a shame. We will be back next time. We have the Gags in the semi-final. Hopefully, we'll also have a final and then obviously Champions League will start. Now, I'm thinking that what we might do is as I say, we'll stop the series before I go to Canada, before European football starts, the league phase. So don't forget, nominations for Viewers Player of the Year. We'll have the Gags in the Cup next up, and assuming that the Cup final is before the Besiktas game, then I think we'll do next episode, and then we'll pause, and then we'll come back after I've come back from Canada, and we will take up the Champions League from there. So I guess that's, let me know what you guys think. I think that's the most obvious break point that isn't the end of the season. We don't have time to get to the end of the season, unfortunately. So yeah, that is that. If you've enjoyed it, thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. It was hard work, we got there, and yeah, now we need to make sure we get out of that league phase again, don't we? Take care.